As I was coming up this hillside, I was beginning to see a little bit of a divot, a low spot, and as I follow it up, it becomes wet. Not only does it become wet, but there is a small pool, and there's another one. This is looking up into the hillside here. It's coming out of the hillside, likely from underneath somewhere, and there is a little bit of a low spot through here, surrounded by the stones, and my guess is that somewhere right about there, that stone is a natural spring, and what we're seeing here is, in fact, that spring is flowing upward and outward down into the other stream down below. We see a couple holes and pock marks and whatnot. So this is a way of finding water. You're looking for a low spot or a trench down in the environment, a dip that shows a channel going upward, and following that channel back, while it might be parched dry and hot as the dickens on whatever time you're there and you get there on the downstream part, follow that stream upward and back, and you will find either a spring, or with a little bit of digging, you'll find a water source. So this is another way of finding water. This is fresh water, although it looks like it's got a lot of tannin in it from the surrounding leaves and whatnot. There's not much color here, but clearly it's full of leaves. But this is fresh water, and I would drink it straight out of the ground here. It's coming up, likely percolating up from being underneath stone and being through stone and through a porous area. It is not a stream, as we see in the environment here. There is no stream flowing above ground. It literally begins here and goes downward from here, and again goes underground because it's been relatively dry. But if we look at the path down below this also, this is generally a wet area, and we see from the trench and from the continuing trickle down that direction that it flows into another stream entirely. So it's flowing out of this area. Here it goes underground a little bit as it attempts to stay flowing, but is not above ground because of the content of the environment, the the humus and whatnot in this environment here absorbs enough water, but not all of it. Clearly it flows down and continues to flow and continue to gain more water as it goes off of the hillside here. This is a wet area, as I said, and coming up out of this environment, or coming down out of this environment rather, into a trench. This is a low spot here, which is clearly a spring, indicative of a spring. There are other areas here which are divots down in that show spring activity, and a nearby stream in another area that comes from up higher on this hillside. This is about finding water and finding fresh water for drink or for use in a purifier or whatnot. You always want to purify water because you don't know exactly what is up above and what is flowing into the water, or coming from the ground or whatnot. You always want to purify your water. But oftentimes where you have a large amount of water in a river or whatnot, you have dead animals on the side of it, you have animals accessing it, you have people accessing it. That is fairly unsafe. In terms of drinking water, it's fine for bathing and whatnot, but it has a lot of contaminants in it already, as it's a larger body of water. But when you find a trickle and find something coming from the environment up higher, coming from underground, it's generally a safer bet for drinking and for consumption than the larger body of water or than the stream or river. So thank you for watching, and thank you for being curious about water and finding water in the wild. Cheers.